Welcome back to The Chase Dude. I'm your host Said Rafe, and today we are kicking off this journey with a story that's very close to my heart. This is the story of how I went from being a curious high school student in Pakistan with nothing but a slow PC and a lot of questions to now becoming a software engineer in the corporate world of Europe. The theme for today's episode is the power of self-learning and how it can shape not just your career, but your entire approach to life. Let me take you back to where it all began, high school. Like many of you, I was just a curious kid who stumbled upon something that piqued my interest. In my case, it was a random HTML node that I found. I remember thinking, what's this all about? I started experimenting with simple tags, bold text, italics, inserting images, and suddenly, I felt like I was creating something out of nothing. But then, as I started getting the hang of it, I found myself wondering about the next step. I remember working on a simple web form, just a basic contact form, but the moment I hit submit, I was hit with a bigger question. What happens next? Where does this data go? How do websites actually process this information? This curiosity led me straight into the world of PHP and MySQL. Back then, these weren't just acronyms, they were entire worlds I knew nothing about. So I did what any eager learner would do. I dove in headfirst. I spent countless nights neck deep in tutorials trying to make sense of concepts that felt so alien to me. And when online resources weren't enough, I started chasing down local programmers, anyone who could help me understand the basics. It was tough, and more often than not, I felt like I was in way over my head. But looking back, those early struggles were the best thing that could have happened to me. They taught me perseverance and they showed me the value of self learning, that hunger to know more and to solve problems on my own. Now let's talk about my PC. It was slow, painfully slow. It couldn't run the heavy games that were popular at the time, and I remember feeling so frustrated by that. But as it turns out, that limitation was a blessing in disguise. Since I couldn't play those heavy games, I ended up playing Flash games instead. And Flash games, they were all about JavaScript. At first, I enjoyed the games, but then, just like with HTML, curiosity got the better of me. I started to wonder, how are these games built? What makes them work? That's when I started digging into JavaScript. It wasn't easy. I was basically teaching myself a programming language with no formal guidance. But every time I made something work, even something small, it felt like magic. I realized that this language could do so much more than just make games. It could bring web pages to life, create interactive experiences, and solve real world problems. JavaScript became my gateway to understanding how the web really worked. It laid the foundation for everything that came after. And the best part, it all started because my PC was too slow to run anything else. It's funny how life works sometimes, isn't it? So, after gaining some confidence with HTML, PHP, MySQL, and JavaScript, I decided it was time to take on a real world project. I figured, why not try freelancing? I mean, I had some skills. I was eager to prove myself. How hard it could be, right? Well, it turns out it was hard, really hard. My first freelance project was a complete disaster. I didn't fully understand the client's requirements, I underestimated the time it would take, and I overestimated my abilities. The end result? A project that was incomplete, a client who was understandably frustrated, and me feeling like a complete failure. But here's the thing, failing that project was one of the best things that ever happened to me. It forced me to take a step back and reassess. I realized that coding wasn't just about making things work. It was about understanding the problem, planning the solution, and managing expectations. So I didn't give up. I went back to the drawing board, learned from my mistakes, and took on smaller projects. Slowly but surely, I started getting the hang of it. And with each successful project, my confidence grew. I was no longer just a high school coder, I was becoming a problem solver and a builder. That first failure taught me resilience, the importance of preparation, and how to turn setbacks into comebacks. It wasn't easy, but it was necessary. And it is a lesson I have carried with me ever since. As my skills grew, so did my ambition. I knew I wanted to make a career out of this, but I also knew that the job market was tough, especially for someone with no formal education in computer science. So I adopted a mantra: fake it till you make it. Now, let me be clear. I don't mean lying or pretending to know things you don't. What I mean is projecting confidence even when you are unsure and pushing yourself into situations where you have to grow. When I started applying for jobs, I wasn't the most experienced candidate, but I had the portfolio to show what I could do, and I made sure to highlight my strengths: my self taught journey, my willingness to learn, and my ability to adapt. I prepared for interviews like I was preparing for battle. I practiced my coding skills, studied common interview questions, and learned how to talk about my projects in a way that would resonate with potential employers. And it worked. Eventually, I landed my first job in tech. It wasn't a dream role, but it was a foot in the door. And from there, I just kept moving forward, one step at a time. That mindset of pushing yourself even when you are not 100% ready has been crucial throughout my career. It has helped me tackle challenges I never thought I could handle and achieve things I once thought were out of reach. Looking back, I can see how each of these experiences, starting with HTML, diving into PHP and MySQL, discovering JavaScript through Flash games, failing my first freelance project, and preparing for the job market with a fake it till you make it attitude, paved the way for my future successes. Self learning taught me more than just technical skills. It taught me how to handle failure, how to adapt, how to stay curious, and how to keep pushing forward even when the odds were against me. These are the lessons that have carried me through my career, from freelancing in Pakistan to working in the corporate tech world in Europe. And these are the lessons that I want to share with you through this podcast. Whether you are just starting out or looking to take your career to the next level, remember that self learning isn't just about gaining knowledge, it's about building a mindset that can take you anywhere. Thank you for joining me on this first episode of The Change Dude. I hope my story inspires you to embrace your own journey with all its twists and turns, and remember, this is just the beginning. There is so much more to come. In the next episode, we will be diving into the importance of a growth mindset and how it can transform your career and your life. Until then, keep learning, keep growing, and keep embracing the change. This is Said Rafi signing off.